Hello again, friends, and welcome into another edition of Wrestling with Rusty right here on YouTube for January 30th, 2024. I want to talk to you today about ECW and WWE wrestling legend and still independent worker Justin Credible, real name PJ Polanco. I don't know him personally, but I heard a story from several people recently that PJ Polanco, Justin Credible, has been scamming wrestling fans out of memorabilia, telling them to send money for the memorabilia and then not sending like t shirts and photos back and things of that nature. Sometimes that's a problem in wrestling, usually with independent wrestlers and not with people that have a name recognition status. But in this case, PJ Polanco is a former drug abuser. I think he might be back on drugs. I'm not sure. And various other issues. So I would not recommend, please don't send money to PJ Polanco, Justin Credible, for anything. He doesn't return the money, he doesn't provide the merchandise. There's another video online by another individual that you can find on YouTube that says Justin Credible is a scam or exposing Justin Credible scam, something along those lines. That details this in better detail than I can do here. That's number one. Number two are the promoters that he doesn't show up for. He asked for a deposit for his booking fee, and the promoter sends him a deposit for the booking fee, and then he doesn't show up and doesn't return the money. Well, that's two separate issues. The merchandise you shouldn't buy from Justin Credible at all. Um, but in regards to the promoter getting screwed by Justin Credible, if you book him one time and he doesn't show up, why are you booking him again? Um, like I said, it's one thing to screw fans because fans have to send the money and expect the wrestler to send the merchandise back in return. I'm not saying that's good, but that's the way it's got to be done. But in the case of the promoter, if the promoter is sending Justin a deposit and then he doesn't show up for the show, why are you bothered to booking him again, promoter? The reality is, if he doesn't show up the first time, don't book him again. It's not like Justin Credible is a big, huge time legend. Yeah, people know who he is from ECW, and you might get some tickets sold because of his name recognition. But what good is it to advertise a talent, whether it be Justin Credible or anybody else, if you know they have a history of not showing up? Because if they don't show up, then you've got to explain to the fans why a certain talent didn't show up or whatever. The reality is what it is. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So, you promoters that book Justin Credible, PJ Polanco, um, if you book PJ and he doesn't show up, then don't book him again. I mean, that's the bottom line. You promoters that book these guys that don't show up and then you book them again after they haven't shown up for you the first time, you're just a mark. You're the definition of a fan that wants to play around with wrestlers and you're desperate to see if they'll show up so you can hang out with them. It's bad enough that they're screwing fans out of merchandise. Some of them, PJ Polanco being one of them. But when the promoter books a guy and he doesn't show up and he takes your money, what are you doing booking him a second time or a third time or a fourth time? And PJ Polanco is just like Greg Valentine. Greg Valentine has a history of taking people's money and not showing up for independent bookings. So what are you guys doing booking uh, Justin Credible and Greg Valentine when you know they have a history of not showing up? Just don't book them. Don't call them. If they burn you once, the possibility of them burning you again is there. And even if they don't burn you the second time, they might burn you down the road. So it's best that you just not even mess with them. There are plenty of independent wrestlers that need bookings that'll be glad to show up. But why you keep booking these people that have a history of not showing up? It's because you want to do like Tony Khan of AEW and play with life-size action figures. Stop booking people that want to take advantage of you. If they take advantage of you one time, don't let them take advantage of you a second time. Don't book them. Go book somebody else. If you keep booking them and they take advantage of you and don't show up for your show, not only does it hurt you, but it hurts the fans that have paid for your show to see that person. And you're stupid for continuing to book them. You're marks. It's crazy. I don't understand some of these people. Like I said, the merchandise is different because they kind of got you over a barrel in that you've got to send them the money in order to get the merchandise. But if you know that a talent, whether it be Greg Valentine or Justin Credible or any other talent, has screwed a promoter before, just like Ric Flair has, then don't book them no more. I mean, that's the bottom line. How stupid do you have to be? I mean, the promoters that book these people after they screw people over and over and over again are just fans / marks trying to play with pro wrestlers. Why are you going to lose your money over a pro wrestler that has a history of not showing up for bookings? It's stupid. Use your head. So wrestling promoters out there and fans alike, please don't send your money to people like PJ Polanco, wrestling name Justin Credible, and people like Greg Valentine. That's all I can say. And there are more names, but I can't think of any other names. Well, I just said it. Ric Flair even screws people. So just be careful out there. There's a lot of scams in the real world too, not related to pro wrestling. But this channel deals with primarily with pro wrestling. So don't be so desperate to hire a pro wrestler or to buy from a pro wrestler that you get scammed. If you allow yourself to get scammed once, that's not necessarily your fault. That's the wrestler's fault. But if the wrestler keeps scamming you over and over again, that's your fault. And stay away from those scams too, if you can, that are not related to pro wrestling, like tax scams and IRS scams and Social Security scams. Hang up the phone. Don't give them any of your personal information or anything like that. But back to wrestling. I've been around wrestling since the 70s, and scams in pro wrestling have been around since the 70s. It's just YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all that wasn't around in the 70s, so you didn't hear about it much. But now that social media and YouTube and all these other platforms are around, you hear about it more. Don't allow yourself to be scammed. Hopefully you'll never get scammed, but if you do, don't let it happen a second time, whether it be in relation to pro wrestling or anything else. That's going to do it for me. Rusty, I'm out of here. We'll see you next time. I've lost some subscribers recently because I've told some truth about pro wrestling. And I've also I had Pittsburgh Steelers videos as well on here that's not related to pro wrestling. So I've lost a couple of subscribers. Please tell your friends to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. I don't make any money. Subscribe for free. Tell your friends to subscribe. Like the videos on the channel. If you haven't liked them or subscribed already, please subscribe and help me support the channel that way. If you want to send me money, I have PayPal, and my email address is RUSTY.LOUDERMILK, LOUDERMILK, like speak louder and give me milk, at yahoo.com. But you must put a dot between the first name and the last name. Otherwise, it's not going to go through. Rusty.Loudermilk at yahoo.com. I'm not asking for money, but if you want to send me money to help support me or the channel, please feel free to do so. But if not, I understand that as well. But be careful of these pro wrestlers that are scamming people. Not everybody is a scammer. And there are a lot of good pro wrestlers out there. But some of these independent guys, or some of these guys like Justin Credible, real name PJ Blanco, that have made a little name recognition for themselves, sometimes they scam people. And in Justin's case, he's a former drug addict, so he could be back on drugs and using your money to buy his drugs. Don't let that happen. That's going to do it for me, Rusty. I'm out of here. We'll see you next time for another edition of Wrestling with Rusty right on YouTube. And until we meet again, my friends, God bless. Thank you for your support. And as the voice of AEW, Ian Riccaboni, would say, happy wrestling, everybody. Take care.